Hello, 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 beautiful unicorns. How are you guys doing today on this amazing Monday? It's looking nice outside. I can't tell you if it's nice and warm, but I highly doubt it since it is winter. Yana, Kasperczak here, your spiritual awakening core energy coach. And my soul's purpose is to help you get your shit together so you can break free from that mental prison that you find yourself in. So you go back to loving your life the way you once did. And today I decided I'm going to be doing the Rebel deck. I'll do a 3-card reading, short and sweet. There's already one that fell out that is excited to be read and told of the fortunes of what is going to be happening for us. And there's the second card that already fell out. I can't see what they're saying yet. I'm not looking at it. So let's see what the third one holds for us. Third one I'll just pull out for us. So we'll do it in the way as they came out. First one being the past. Can't even see. So, the past. Let me move it this way. There we go. Somewhat you can see it. So, the past, the present, and the future. Okay? So, the past is stop fucking whining. So, in the past, you might have been going through a lot, and you yourself might also recognize that it might have been you whining just to get things off your chest, just to help you to process, to whine, complain, to not continue to think and overthink whatever it is that was bothering you. Hence, stop whining or stop effing whining. And the last one is just making sure my dog is not stealing the cat food, because she's been really good at doing that. Our senior cat, who's 16 years old now, he's been wanting to be eating some more food, and I make it for him, and she sneaks in there and steals it once in a while. She's been pretty good at not taking it, but once in a while, she just, like I said, sneaks in there and steals it, and it upsets me. It upsets me when this poor cat can't fight anyone off, and someone like this dog who's much younger to go and take advantage, but she doesn't really push him out. Anyways, this is me whining and complaining, okay? Perfect example. Now that's in the past. Let's move forward. No one wants to listen to that shit, right? Perfect proof right there. None of you probably care to hear about my old cat and my dog and them having their life and how they're coexisting together. Complaining makes you weak. You have the strength to change your world, so do it. Number one-sided. So this is for the past, but even if it was 5 minutes ago, it's still the past. So the past is our current present, and it does affect our present, and it could potentially affect our future if we don't do anything about it. So I'll use an example of me whining, complaining about my cat, who I'm lucky that he's still here. I know some of you have lost a senior animal, and it's heartbreaking. It's not an easy thing to go through. Absolutely not. And on one hand, you want them to be here for as long as they can, and on the other hand, that you see that their way of life is no longer the same. So it's only human to think, wouldn't it be easier if they no longer suffered? But what we assume is suffering might not actually be suffering. What I assume as my cat, starting to walk into things, not seeing clearly, struggling to even get up on the bed, but he didn't know. struggling to get up on the bed. He can't even jump on the counters, which is great, by the way. Where even he doesn't have that balance anymore. What I assume is suffering for him, it's just aging, and it's not affecting him. He's still getting tons of love, tons of attention, if not more than he ever did before. So anyways, then an example of complaining and getting that, or whining, and then getting that off the chest, so that way we can move on and be present in the future, in the present. Ancient shit is school. You need some fucking yoga in your life. So, exercise, stretch. Yoga is to connect with yourself. It's to know thyself. That's what yoga is. So meditation can be considered, it's mindfulness, but it could also be considered as yoga, depending on how you do that meditation. It could be active meditation. Not all meditations are you sit still and you don't move. That's more so Zen meditation. There's different styles of meditation. So yoga is ancient, and that's why it's saying ancient shit is cool. And what worked for how many generations, how many lifetimes has yoga been known to be thy medicine? For meditation to be thy medicine. Why not tap into that, or go back to practicing a little bit of yoga and some meditation? It's also a great reminder for me. These cards are not just for you guys. These cards work for me as well. So, and the future is face reality or live in a fucking la la land. Choose bravely. Believe what you see. So you can believe what you see. You can believe what is in front of you, or you can choose to not see it at all, or not see it that way, and choose to, in a way, live in a fucking la la land and pretend everything is great, everything is peachy. Like, I can pretend that this coffee machine that we have here is great and it's gonna work and I can go make coffee with it now, but that's me living in a la la land right now because it's not working right now. It might work later, we shall see. But until then, I choose to live bravely with that one. To have a positive outlook on this coffee machine, that it's, when my husband gets home, that he's going to be able to fix it with that O-ring, as he calls it, on the inside machine, to stop it from spitting its juices, spitting the blood, the water on the inside of it, which is not, it's not spitting an enormous amount, but even a little bit eventually will make it stop working entirely. So, what is it in your life, however big or small it is, that you are struggling to perhaps accept something as this is the reality, this is how things are, and you choose to see it in a different way. You choose to see it maybe in a positive way, where in reality it's not so positive. Or you choose to see it in a negative way, where in reality it's not as negative. Because there's two sides to that coin. And the way that we choose to see something is going to help us to move forward. Now, here's the kicker. When we are, it's important to have a reality check. It's important to, hey, good morning, Rebecca, how are you doing, beautiful? It's important to have a reality check, to pause for a moment and see what we're going through, and in a realistic way, to understand what we're going through, instead of just choosing to see it in a positive light, or being stuck in seeing it in a very, very negative light. It's important to bring ourselves back to reality and ground ourselves to see things for what they are right now, to understand them, and then we can add a little bit of positivity to it, instead of not taking the time to see and feel what is it that you are going through, and have that reality check to just think positive, just let it be positive, without, because here's the thing, when we are having that reality check, we also come up with solutions that are realistic to help us through whatever it is that we're going through. But if we are pretending to live in a la-la land, then it does not help the situation. It helps us to feel better in the moment, but it does not solve the problem, and it does not make us feel better later because we know the reality of the situation. That's why it's important to understand, to sit with it, to really grasp it, to accept it. Sometimes to say, okay, this is how it is. There is no pretending. There is no trying to fake it until I make it. There is no trying to be positive. This is what it is. What are my options? What do I do with this now? And when we have the reality check, it really helps us to be brave as well. It's also brave to live in a la-la land. It really is brave. And it's also brave to live in the real world, to have that reality check, and then choose what you're going to do going forward. And it's even braver to stick to it and do what you say you're going to do. And believe what you see. This one makes me think of when someone shows you their true colors, when someone shows you what is really happening, or someone shows you like who they are, as one example. And I'm using this example, it's coming to mind because of my daughter and some of these friends that are coming back to her life that have showed her numerous times their stripes. They showed her who they are. And she is amazing and very brave for forgiving and allowing them to come back into her life. But this is where, like Oprah would say, when someone shows you and tells you who they are, believe them. Don't try to pretend to see them as someone they are not, because you're only fooling yourself. You're not fooling them, you're fooling yourself. And in the end, it's you who is going to get hurt. And I know, I especially after doing a helicopter parent video, parenting styles and stuff like that on Thursday that I did, this is one of the things that I, as a parent, it's really, really challenging. It's really hard to not try to take control of the situation and not to say, no, you can't be friends with this person or this person because do you remember what they did? And because of that, it's not necessarily my place. It's my place to have a conversation and ask her to remind me of what she learned of this individual, the stripes that they showed, and then help her to see if this is the kind of person that she wants in her life and to what extent she wants that person in her life. Just because she came back and she apologized does not mean she's actually apologetic, does not mean that she learned, does not mean that she changed. So at the same time, allowing people, people can change. People do change. We all change. I'm not the same person I was 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 years ago. Absolutely not. You are not the same person you were 5, 10, 20 years ago either. And these girls, they're not the same girls as they were a year ago. But maybe they're the same girls that they were just 2, 3 months ago. And it's not my life. It's not my relationships. It's hers. But when a tiger shows me that they're a tiger, I am not going to pretend to see them as a lion. I'm not going to pretend to see them as a giraffe. I'm not going to pretend to see them as anything aside from what they have told me they are. And it's not my place to change them. I believe every type of a person, every type of personality, even the ones that we don't like, even the ones that we can't stand, they add tremendous value to the world. They help each and every one of us in the ways that they do. For some of us, they become great friends. For the rest of us, they will become great teachers because we get to learn so much from them. So let me see, Rebecca saying reality check puts us back into present moment, 100%. 100%. Reality does put us into the present moment, and it brings us into the now, into the here and now, where we can actually choose to do something about it and not be in a la-la land, living into the future or into the past. And then Rebecca said, people show you what they are capable of, what they are made of, and who they are programmed to be. Yeah, they do. If we just pay attention and listen, we would hear and understand what people are saying. And we, most importantly, would really listen and understand who that person is through the conversations we have. The words they use, how they talk, about who they talk, how they make connections, how they react in certain situations. Yeah, if we pay attention, we really will hear and understand who's in front of us. And then Rebecca said, hard not to interfere in our kids' life. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard. But it also becomes, initially it's hard, but it also becomes easier when we learn to trust them. When we learn to trust our kids, that no matter what choices they make, good or bad, based on our opinion and our experience, that it's all going to work out, that it's all going to be okay. If we just trust our kids and the universe, that, you know, the universe is there to have their back, just like it's here to have our back and to help us, then everything becomes much easier, where we don't have to stress out and worry as much as we would if we felt the need to manage or micromanage our children's lives. And then Rebecca said, I have taught my daughter that there are levels of how personal you can get with people and how to set boundaries and when to keep a distance. The rest is up to her. Yeah. And then yin and yang. Exactly. All we can do is we can help and educate our kids, hope that they're listening, hope that they are understanding, but the understanding comes through experience. It doesn't necessarily come through conversation. We might get the gist of it, we might understand it a little bit, but not until we're actually doing it, not until we're actually in it, that we can truly understand what our mom said to us, or what our dad said to us, or what our friend said to us. Those lessons that someone tried to teach us to help us in avoiding something, that we can only fully understand when we are going through it, when we're experiencing it. You can't, it's like, for you mamas, okay, those of you who had given birth. Now, I wouldn't understand what it's like to have a C-section because I have not gone through it. I can understand by watching and observing, but I cannot fully understand unless I have gone through it and experienced it myself. Now, those mamas who have only had C-sections and have not given birth through the birthing canal, they also can only understand, but they can't fully understand until they have gone through it, experienced it. Now, and I'm just using an example of birth itself. Now, there's also those who have had the C-section and were not conscious for it, and that's something that the rest of us wouldn't understand. Now, there's those who have given completely natural birth with no kind of needles, no epidurals, with nothing at all, and that's only those who have gone through it can fully understand. Now, there's those of us who have given birth in their own house with midwives, and did not do that in the hospital. Everyone has a different experience, and unless we have that experience, we won't fully understand. until we go through it, until we experience it ourselves, and then we understand. But now, also the understanding itself is going to be quite different for everyone, because we all live a different life. We have had different parents, we have had different experiences, we had different friends, we had different things, different lessons, different teachers we were exposed to. Our conscious is developed a little bit different than everyone else. So even our understanding is going to be that. It's going to be our understanding, our experience. And it's going to be different than anyone else's. And that is one of the hardest things for all of us to kind of one day come and grasps with, to fully acknowledge and fully understand what that actually means. That we are alone in our understanding. We are alone in our experiences. We are alone on our journeys. But we get to share with others. We get to share our knowledge and wisdoms with others through conversation, because that's also the beautiful part. And what I mean by that is that, let's say we're using an example of giving birth. We get together, and each and every woman in this group gathering has given the same exact birth. But her experience is going to be a little bit different. Now we can sit down and have a conversation about our differences. Yes, we bond through our similarities. Yes, we connect through our similarities, and that's great. But we grow and build different connections from our differences. We learn from our differences. We bring all these different minds and refer to it as a mastermind, and we get to learn from one another experience. What was it like for you? What was it like for you? What was it like for you? And not in a way of comparing, oh, mine was harder, or mine was easier, or mine was this, mine was that. Even though a lot of people do live in that way. But I don't feel like in this group, this is how a lot of women operate. We, in this group, operate in a way of, let me hear your story, let me hear your journey, and learn from that. So I can learn and see what your experience and knowledge can add to my life, and then how I can take that and help others and add to their life as well. Rebecca said, my first two are all natural, meaning like no epidurals, no needles, nothing like that. That's what I understand all natural is. For me, I had 3 pregnancies, 3 deliveries. The first one was the twins. I don't know why it wasn't natural, but I was given morphine. I think maybe mostly it was because I was so distraught. To kind of calm me and my mind and my body. I think that's the reason why they give me morphine, because they're already starting to come out, right? And with the other 2 kids, nothing. Just like you, Rebecca, nothing. No needles, no epidural, just me and the bed and the body and its natural processes. And it worked out well. No complaints. I just couldn't. That needle, after seeing what that needle looks like for epidural, I'm like, oh my God, no thank you. I think I would much rather die than to have that needle be put into my spine. I'm like, oh my God, no. So just knowing that there's certain things that are for me and there's other things that are not for me, that I'm not okay with, and I absolutely, I could not know. And then Rebecca says, I'm literally allergic to morphine, and I didn't know until I was recovering from surgery and my heart almost stopped. Ooh, that must have been an ordeal with not knowing that you're allergic to experiencing having your heart practically almost stop. It's a reality check there, eh? With allergies. Yeah. Anyways, my daughter is now calling me. She's been messaging me today's exams, and I guess she forgets that I do these videos during this time. But I gotta go connect with her and see what she would like from me right now. Rebecca says I had an out-of-body experience. I saw my body beneath me and I was floating. I have heard this one so many times when the heart stops, when the body stops beating, that we actually see our body and we see and feel the separation. And I'm glad that you had the choice and the ability to go back. Some people don't when the body is too far gone, but I'm glad that you had that opportunity to have more of your life and more children after that. So anyways, thank you everybody. Hope this reading was helpful for you. I definitely know it was helpful for me. I got some things that I'm gonna do based on this reading, and starting with responding to my daughter. And Rebecca felt a rope connecting me to my body. Yeah, it's like makes me think of an umbilical cord where we are connected. We're connected with everything in the world, but especially with our body, because we have chosen our body before being born, and there is an actual connection with it. I know there's quite a few people who have had that experience. One lady has shared that in the group as well, that she's had that experience. But other than that, I gotta go take care of the child that is asking to be taken care of. Hope you guys have an amazing the rest of your day, and do what you felt called to do after this reading. And until we see each other either tomorrow at the Sacred Circle, which is at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Every Tuesday, Bethany and I alternate hosting, and or at 11:30, where I go live on my personal page with story time with me, Yana Kasperczak, to share a little bit of a story. And of course, with that always comes a lesson. And Rebecca says, I looked around and saw everything that was happening, but did not feel. Yeah, because there's no feelings or emotions there. It's just existence. I feel like I can't say that I've experienced that, but having experienced loss in my life, it does cause this disconnection with the mind and the body and the soul and the spirit, where we just feel numb and yet so full of hope and love. I feel like that is what it would feel like. And then Rebecca says, love your nail polish color, friend. Oh, thank you. I love it too. I did my toes in the same color. I like to treat myself to my own pedicures and manicures. Okay, so I will see you all tomorrow. Yes, see you tomorrow, Rebecca. And until then, bye everybody. Hope you have an amazing day.